Crisis at the Bexar County Jail, overcrowding and other issues now front and center. Last week, county leaders spent a great time on the topic. The conversation brought on by Precinct 3 Bexar County Commissioner Grant Moody, and Commissioner Moody joins us live here in studio tonight. First off, Commissioner Moody, thank you for being here and for your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. All right, so I feel like with this particular issue with overcrowding, it's no surprise. I mean, this has been ongoing at the Bexar County Jail for quite some time. But before we talk solutions, I think it's always good for our viewers at home. Let's paint the picture for them on the actual problem itself. What are you learning from county staff about how bad the problem is now?
Well, so there's a lot to obviously unpack here. I think, first of all, it's important to realize the county spends hundreds of millions of dollars on the criminal justice system every year. This is a huge portion of the county budget. That's why we should care. There was this was a discussion that lasted 2.5 hours. This is something I drove and asked for over the last 6 months. We've had multiple meetings of key stakeholders, but this was the first time in open court that we actually sat down and we discussed a lot of these issues that are plaguing the jail. And as you mentioned, there's several, right? Overcrowding is a big issue. We've been over the state jail commission's recommendations for 90% capacity for like 1.5 years plus.
Wow.
We've come back from a peak a little bit, but we've been putting inmates out at surrounding counties, and that contract could cost $7 and $9 million a year just to house those inmates out. So there's a lot of things to think about that both on the financial side, but also on the proper management of the jail and some of the issues we've seen there with the lack of bed space, lack of the right beds, mental health beds. And you've heard a lot of talk about the double magistration process and diversion and some of these other potential solutions there, but we need to talk about these problems.
Yeah, there's so many layers to it, and it's not just one. But in regards to having to pay, so we're paying other counties essentially to house our people because we can't fit them in our own jail.
That's correct.
Wow.
And we currently using that with two counties, Burnett and with Kerr County. Kerr County raised their price per bed per day from $65 to $85. And really, we don't have a lot of options if we need that bed space today. And what we heard from Brandon Wood at the Jail Commission is that a lot of counties don't have those bed spaces available anymore. There's more and more competition. So if you're lucky to get a contract with one of these counties, they're going to be able to charge whatever they want to, and you may not even be able to find the bed space anymore because more and more of these counties are out there trying to find bed space in the state of Texas.
Interesting. I know with solutions there's a lot, but from what you've learned and what you gathered from getting these stakeholders at the table, if there was something that you could do tomorrow just to at least just get a little dent into this problem, what could we do, or what do you recommend that the county should be doing?
Well, I think we got to be forward planning. We got to be thinking about the future. Nobody thinks that in 20 years we're going to have fewer inmates than we do today in a county that's growing as quickly as Bexar is. I think we did find some quick wins, some solutions just from having all those stakeholders in the room. For example, we realized that Applewhite facility apparently has 100 beds or more that are vacant and being unused because they didn't have prescription drugs for those individuals. So we're going to try to solve that. But ultimately, we have to be thinking down the road, and that means we have to be proactive, we have to have initiative, we have to have these tough discussions with our stakeholders and our partners so we can get informed about exactly the current state of the problem. There's some good work being done on the diversion side. The city's been having a lot of discussions on that front. The county needs to tie in with it, but ultimately, I think diversion's part of that, part of the solution, but it's not going to be sufficient to solve the other issues going on at the jail.
And it's not going to happen overnight either.
It's not.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. We only hit the surface, but Commissioner Moody, we appreciate you for joining us and for giving our viewers the insight, because this impacts all of us as Bexar County taxpayers. We appreciate your time, sir.